Check 1 2. All right, it is Friday, August 23rd, and we are going to do a ES review. Now we're going to start with the monthly chart, and quite the candle we have forming here. We have one more week on it left, 5 more days, and remember going into next week that the 2nd of September is a holiday. So keep that in mind, especially if you're playing options. But yeah, so this is 3 weeks of price action. We have one more week left. As you can see, extremely big wick. Extremely. Bottom of the tail is right at the previous all-time highs from December of 21. Got bought right up, which is right near the top of this distribution curve, so that's really good to see. Now this next week will be very telling. We want to see strength close above this, preferably, or this candle, I would really like to see it at least stay green. So I do like how we're holding this above this volume node right here, this high volume node right here. So monthly, kind of a cup and handle, bought up, so really like that. Here's the weekly. Very nice hammer. What was that, 2 weeks ago? Dip was bought viciously again. And then last week, just straight pushing. And this week, not as big of a bar, but we'll take it. Going into all-time highs. We closed above this week's high, so that's good to see. And yeah, that's about it. Buyers were very strong here. Couldn't put a body below this gap. Trend line break. So yeah, things are looking really good on the highest time frames for ES. Let me just get rid of this. This is just a 50% fib. I was watching on this swing in case we did pull back into here, and in case we still do. But let me delete that. Oops, delete that. So yeah, as you can see, the MAs are starting, moving averages are starting to group up together and pick a direction with them because they're lagging indicators. I've been watching this pivot zone. This has been key for me. As you can see, we've been struggling to accept above it. Now you could draw this out like that, and you can see how it respects it very well, but that's not how I draw them. This is not a pivot. This is a pivot. This is a pivot. This is a pivot. So, but that doesn't mean I don't have my eye on it. I actually should keep a level there like that. So, oops, my trend line got deleted. Oh wait, no, that was the weekly. 200 moving average got bought. So we had lots of fears, recession fears, extreme selling, and it looks like shorts got caught with their pants down because it's just been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive green days. And with very little pullback. It was healthy to see this, especially this. So I would not be surprised if we go into all-time highs after these two. But anything's still on the board, and that's why I was watching. I still am keeping this 50% markup, which has confluence with this zone. Put in a nice lower high and continue. But that'd be in a perfect world. So drilling down to the 4-hour. These green boxes are just overnight gaps. As you can see today, let me drill down for you. Today we could not close an hourly candle below the midpoint of the gap, showing strength. Go back to the 4 hour for you. So the zone we're struggling in is from this pivot, and this is why sorry, I was just trying that out. I don't like that, but this is why I did not draw this pivot off of here, is because even on the 4 hour, that price is not a pivot. This is the pivot, this is the pivot. Swing high, swing high, swing high, swing high. And as you can see, we're currently trading in a box. All week we've been ranging on top of last week. And very good. This was a gap, vicious gap down. Retested, failed, and as you can see, struggled to break above it, finally break above it, back tested it, held it. So this is definitely a big line in the sand, 590, and I'll go over numbers and levels at the end of this video. But drill down to the 1 hour to see a little better. Just a lot of ranging this week. Everyone really made it out to be that today at J-Hole, you know, we'd see something send us out of this range, but nope. Nope, nope, nope. And 30-minute view. So just box rules, play the box, sell the extremes, long the extremes. We do have this nice overnight gap, which haven't had too much of an overnight gap in this box besides this one. So a gap that held, excuse me. So this will be a key area to watch. If this gap can hold, if it's taken out, the chance to go lower is higher, but this must be taken out first. These are weekly profiles. This is this week, and then this is the prior week. Trended all up last week, and the high of last week became the low of this week's box. Only tested that once. You could say twice, but I had really counted once because we accepted in it and then we tested it once. That's how I look at it. So, and then these are monthly, I believe. Yes. So each of these are a month. So this entire beginning of this month puked. We just reclaim that entire move. Love to see that. Holding the initial high right there. So to go over levels, obviously 55.95, could call it 5,600 if you want. This candle, I'd really want to see this monthly candle at close green. So for the weekly line in the sand, have a slight little gap up here. So what price is that? 55.84 and 55.75, let's call it. There'll be a good line in the sand, and then as well as holding this trend line. So road to all-time highs, we will see. So obviously this is a key level right here, this 663, and I would like to see us accept out of this pivot zone, accept out, and then hold it. I don't even care if we go to all-time highs. I just want to see that we can accept out of it and then turn this into support, which we have not done yet. So, and as I said a couple times already, the 50% mark, so anywhere from 5,500, let's call it, to 5,350, with the midpoint being 54.25. Definitely a discount buy watch for your medium to longer term swing traders. And then the box we're in right now, high of 56.65, low of 55.80 or 55.90, pardon me. And so until this box is broken, play it like it's a range. Be careful, don't chase breakouts. Look above and fails are definitely not out of the picture, as well as look belows. I really like how we, I'm going to say this again, I really like how we could not fill this gap, the overnight gap today. So if we lose, let's call it 5,600, I'm sorry, yeah, 5,600, let's call it, that overnight gap, then the last line of defense is 55.85, we're going to call it, so. Yeah, 55.80 we'll call it. I do not want to see us lose last week's high. And by lose, I mean accept below. You know, if we just do a little wick below, that's fine. You know, this is not accepting below. This. This is accepting below, right here, finally accepted. So that is about it for ES. I wasn't going to do NQ, but why not? Sorry, these charts might be a little sloppy, but alright, this is interesting. So previous zone right here I was watching, trying to get above it on the weekly. The high of this key 20,000 level seems to be struggling, where this high volume node is. Very nice V though. Like to see that V recovery. What's the fib say? Holding above the 60%, 50% golden zone. Like to see that. 200 MA got bought up on the weekly. On Z daily, old demand zone, turn supply, still acting as supply, sort of. Let's pull this up, since this is technically the new here. Do it like this. So failed here. In the supply zone. Beautiful downtrend though on the daily. Top, lower high, doji, reversal signal. Lower high, lower high. Crazy wick. And then higher low and blast off. So only thing I don't like about it is this big red downstick, but after all this, can you be mad about this? So next week will be a big tell. Sorry, my 4 hours a little sloppy. So 4 hour. Mark a pivot where we failed. Does not seem as clean as ES. Once again though, spent this week on a box. weekly profiles on NQ right here. So here's this week and the previous week. Similar, just like with DS last week, just grind up all week and then couldn't hold. Kind of a look below and fail of last week's high on ES. We really held last week's high almost to the tick. Went below it a little more on NQ, but it's not accepting below. So, like to see that. So, great line in the sand here. Oops. Great line in the sand here. So, let me go over the, oh, still got the monthly too. So, monthly candle, remember 5 days left on this. Not as nice as ES, but we do have beautiful, massive wick. This one's more of a doji though, to where the other one looks like it's ready to push. So next week NQ really needs to push at least above here. So big line in the sand for bulls right there, and then bears right there. So yeah, we will go over prices. So bulls, 19.99, so we got to get over 20k and hold for bull case. Do not want to see us even start trading below 18,700, not at all. And then if we do 18,200, that's the true last line in the sand for me. Really, you could call it the bottom of this wick, but playing it safe. So daily, this zone right here. So this, the high right here of this daily, what is that, 20,005? Just call it accepting above 20k once again. Beautiful dip by there. Oops. Beautiful dip by there. Pretty much to the tick. Oops. Pretty much to the tick. NQ's not as mechanical as ES, so on the daily, engulfed, this engulfed. 2 days could not engulf the third, the big bull day, so I like that for bull case. So this could be a higher low. Must accept above this though for bull case. So we got 20k still. On the daily, 19,200. This zone right here, 19,300 to 185. Here, let me get the fib up. Which is right where the 50% line is. So this is the golden zone on the daily, like you saw in ES. That's where ideally would be a discount for your, your swing traders. So, and then box, top of the box, you could call it 19,930, or you could even just call it Thursday's high at 20k at 20, and then with the low between 19,450 to 19,580. All right, and let me see. So yeah, once again, do not want to accept below last week's high, which last week's high is 19,680. So I know I sound like a broken record repeating these numbers over, prices over and over, but I'm just going through each different time frame. And then, the more times they're repeated, the stronger they are. So if you hear me say 20k is a line in the sand on here, and then I say it again here on the weekly, and then I say it on the daily, more power to it. So So last week, this trend up, we cannot reclaim this to where we ran up last week, ranged this week, next week, just an example, do a look above, fail, and then we end up reclaiming this move right here. Do not want to see that at all whatsoever, because that could either turn this into one big range, or we could just burn, burn, burn. But let's check the stocks. Bitcoin's been in a range for a long time. Really like massive weekly dip, love that, right at this fair value gap. Great week for Bitcoin right here. Took out this fair value gap, so I like to see that. Gold's been doing very well. When there's fear and blood in the water, gold does its thing like it is. Could not reclaim this gap. Would like to see this hold for bull case on gold. Silver, I noticed it when gold did this gap up. What was that? 16th? That's when I started eyeing silver, and so you can see after this day, the high of this day has now been retested and supported. So that's great to see. Almost looks ready for liftoff. NVDA, we had this nice fill of the gap, grab the liquidity, run stops. You know, everyone was trying to load up at 100 psych number, but you know, many people could have bought at 100 and then, you know, stopped out 10 points below at 90 and couldn't even get below 90, 90.73, and we've just been running since. So SMCI does not look as good as NVIDIA, but if you look at the recent price action, it's not weak, but it's not like NVIDIA. There's this gap right here that needs to be filled. Apple's another big one. Kind of looks like it's rolling over on the daily. Let's check the weekly. Weekly looks a lot better. I love this massive gap up on the weekly. So it went, and then just boom. Love to see that gap filled. So this still hasn't been retested, so this must hold, in my opinion. And then we have another one up here that needs to be taken out. Microsoft. Could really say this thing's just still in a range. So yeah, box rule is on that. Google, this zone right here was demand, turned into supply. Almost looks like it's working as supply again. Go over to Amazon. Lost the trend line. Didn't really accept below it, trying to hang on by a thread, but I don't know. We will see. Next week will be the big telltale with Amazon. So let's look at the VIX. This is the lovely meltdown we had, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So spiked up to 64, which we haven't seen since March of 20, so COVID. Back down to 15. Oh, another thing I want to talk about, since I am done with these, is actually one more. The equal weight RSP. Equal weighted SPY is pushing, so I love to see that. And then the weighted SPY is not pushing, so I think that's healthy because all the equally weighted companies are pushing compared to just SPY being heavy Apple, heavy Amazon, you know, so that's good. And when I was talking about the VIX and the environment we're in, 15, almost 16 VIX. So I also like to talk about the average trading range. I've been trading NQ lately. Wow, NQ's ATR is 510 right now. We did 312 points today. This blue line is it historically, so you can see from May to the beginning of July was just more than half of the ATR we're seeing now. So lots of volatility. You can see what caused that, these huge bars, and then these causing these to look like nothing. This is what we were in before and we're used to and we're trading, and then all of a sudden ATR expands and it shows very well. And the last one, ES's, is 103.59, which I like to see ES doing around 58.50 on the average, 75 most, so it's a little more volatile than my liking, but this is a lagging indicator by 2 weeks, so take it with a grain of salt. So hope everyone has a great weekend, and trade on.